For the first question, the employee class, I created a class employee with 2 class attributes, which were num employees, and then an employee list to keep track of all of the employee objects. Then I created a constructor that sets all of these values to, or initializes them to default values. I included getters and setters for each of those values, and then a static method which averaged the salaries, and that used the employee list class attribute from earlier to sum up all of the salaries, and then it divided the sum salaries by the number of employees to return the average salaries. The class full-time employee inherited from the earlier employee class, and then in the main I just created some employees and some full-time employee objects, set their different attributes, and then I printed them, printed the average salary, the number of employees, and then I just printed out all the attributes for the employees that I created. So I'll go ahead and run that one. That's the output of that. For the second web scrape program, I put in the URL that we got from the ICP document, and then I ran it through the HTML parser, and then first I printed the title, and then I printed all of the A tags, and then for all of those A tags that I found, I used get href and printed those out. So I'll go ahead and run that one. And then I printed a bunch of links, and up at the top is the title. And then lastly, for NumPy, I created a vector. I used random uniform, so this was the lowest value, this was the highest, and this was the size. I printed out that original vector. I'll go ahead and run this one now. So here's the original vector with the size of 20, all the values between 1 and 20. And then I reshaped it to be a matrix of 4 by 5, and then I printed out the matrix vector, so now it's reshaped. And then lastly, I created a variable called row max to find all of the indexes of the max values for each row. And then I printed out, I used np.where. The condition was where it's the index that has a maximum, and then replaced it with 0. And then that's printed out here.